The city of Antalya, located in southwestern Anatolia, is a pretty well-known Turkish tourist hotspot. The city is best known for its quaint old town, its beautiful beaches and its scenic view of the Taurus mountains, but one thing which not a lot of people tend to think of when they think about Antalya is its ancient past. Although there are places such as the Antalya Archaeological Museum, which is famous for its vast collection of ancient relics and art, and the nearby town of Side, which is known for its impressive Greco-Roman ruins, the vast majority of ancient sites in the region tend to be forgotten, and one of these ruins are of the ancient town of Termessos. The thing that makes Termessos so unique is its location. Laying over 1000 meters above sea level on a flat by the Güllük Mountain, the location alone is a spectacle, and paired with the fact that the city was so well defended that not even Alexander the Great could conquer it, it makes the site truly unique. The founding of Termessos is quite foggy and unknown to us. The few pieces of information regarding its foundations are that the city of Termessos was founded by the Solimians, a very obscure and unknown group of people who lived in southwestern Anatolia. This name of theirs derives from Mount Solimus, which is the ancient name for Mount Güllük. Coincidentally, or not, this is the exact same mountain that Termessos lies on, which does give this foundation theory some extra points. Another thing to add to the Solimians is that they, along with the Greek god of war, Ares, killed the son of the hero Bellerophon, Isander. Beside this little bit of history, next to nothing is known about the early history of Termessos, nor the people who founded it. History would however start to pick up for Termessos during the conquest of Alexander the Great. Now, Alexander was just having a great time conquering, hoarding, killing and chilling in Anatolia, but while passing southwestern Anatolia, Alexander saw the city of Termessos and decided that it would be great if he conquered it. Alexander laid siege to the city. He thought that the Termessians would surrender to him, but they stubbornly held on. Alexander was getting kind of frustrated at the fact that he couldn't do the one thing he was famous for, conquering, so he decided to abandon the siege and instead ride for and conquer the city of Sagalassos, which lay north. Nah. In 320 BC, after the death of Alexander, the state of his empire was not that great. Several of his generals fought over who would control the remnants of the former empire, and one of these was Antigonus Monophalmos, a former general and satrap of Alexander who proclaimed himself the ruler of Asia Minor, which is modern-day Anatolia. To secure his title, Antigonus went to war against Alcetas, a former general of Alexander and a competitor to the title. Alcetas, threatened by Antigonus' vastly superior force, retreated to the city of Termessos, which swore to protect him from Antigonus. Antigonus and his army set up camp and surrounded the city, seeking for the Termessians to give him up. The city elders decided that it would be best if the city surrendered Alcetas in order not to drag themselves into the conflict, and they sent a messenger as quick as possible to inform Antigonus about it. The townspeople and youth, however, resisted the decision of the elders, but as they didn't have the power, Alcetas would have been handed over no matter what. Learning of this, Alcetas killed himself before it could have been handed over, seeing it better to kill himself than to be at the mercy of Antigonus. The dead body of Alcetas was handed over to Antigonus, and he was not that happy. For 3 days, the body of Alcetas was desecrated and abused, and when Antigonus and his army left, the body was left unburied outside of the city. Learning of these events and after finding the unattended body, the citizens of Termessos built a mighty tomb for Alcetas, which can still be seen today. During the 2nd century BC, Termessos was in a bit of hot water. Termessos engaged in several conflicts, first with a league of Lycian cities and later on with the neighbors of Incinda and Salce. Now I guess that Termessos wasn't doing that well against Salce, so Termessos formed an alliance with King Attalus II Philadelphus of Pergamon, who, fun fact, established the city of Antalya. Around the same time, the city of Nanda became a colony of Termessos, with it gaining the name of Termessos Minor. During the Roman conquest of Anatolia, Termessos became an ally of Rome and supported them in their military endeavors. As a gesture of gratitude, the city of Termessos was granted the status of civitas libera by the Roman Senate in 71 BC, which meant that the city could now for the most part govern themselves freely from the Romans, with a lot of autonomy. The city enjoyed this prosperity and freedom for several centuries, with the city even being home to an early Christian bishop. This peace and prosperity for Termessos would end after an earthquake caused one of the city's aqueducts to collapse. The specific year in which this happened is not known, although we do know that the city was fully abandoned in the 5th century AD. To be frank, there isn't that much to say about Termessos. The city had a fruitful but ultimately obscure and unknown history, and even though the city easily stands out due to its geographic location, it's still not exactly the first, second or even 10th place people tend to think of when they think of ancient Greek ruins. What can be ultimately drawn from this is that interesting history can come from the most unexpected and unknown of places. How many other cities can boast about being unconquerable, even by Alexander the Great, or how many other archaeological sites can show off a nearly perfectly preserved theatre whilst being on top of a mountain well over 1000 meters over sea level? In conclusion, history happens everywhere, in every place, no matter how unknown or unrevealed that location might be. There's probably enough history about Termessos to fill an entire book, yet there's only so much written about it and undoubtedly so much lost that all of it will never truly be known. What I have here is mostly everything we know. And even the little that we know is history worthy of a historic epic. The other thing that we can draw from this is that I'll never again write about a topic so obscure that my main sources were literal travel guides.